You have failed this family. After all these years, no child. What kind of wife are you? My son deserves better. Fix this. You are a failure. After 2 years, still no child.
Please, Father, we are trying.
Trying is not enough.
I'm sorry.
You are a failure. My son deserves a wife who can give children.
Please, Father, forgive me.
Forgive? You have brought shame on this family.
Ekaite first met Etim on a rainy afternoon in Uyo. The sky had darkened without warning, and within minutes, the city was drenched. She had just locked up her small tailoring shop when the rain caught her, forcing her to seek shelter under the awning of a bookshop. That was when Etim appeared, holding a large black umbrella. "You will be drenched if you stay here," he had said, his deep voice smooth like the palm wine she loved. She hesitated for a moment, then stepped under his umbrella, inhaling the subtle fragrance of his scent. They walked together, dodging puddles and laughing at the people who ran past them, struggling with broken umbrellas. By the time they reached her street, they had exchanged names, smiles, and a promise to meet again. A year later, they were married. The wedding was grand, filled with the colors and tradition of the Ibibio people. The elders poured libations, women danced in vibrant wrappers, and their families blessed their union. Ekaite was overjoyed. This was the beginning of a beautiful life. But as months turned into years, her strength was tested in ways she never imagined. At first, no one questioned why Ekaite and Etim had no children. After all, marriage was a journey and a child could come at any time. But by their second anniversary, whispers had begun. By their fourth year, the whispers became questions. And by their sixth year, the questions became accusations. "She is barren," one of the elders had muttered during a family gathering. "A wife who cannot bear children is a disgrace." Ekaite had swallowed the insult, gripping her husband's hand beneath the table. Etim remained her rock. "Ignore them," he would say. "Children or not, you are my wife." But even his strength could not shield her from the relentless words of his father, Chief Akpan. Chief Akpan had never liked Ekaite. To him, she was a burden. A woman who ate food in his son's house but could not produce an heir is a burden. One evening during a family function, he publicly humiliated her. "When I married Etim's mother, she was pregnant within 3 months. But this one, 16 years and still nothing." He spat on the ground, shaking his head. "A barren woman is like a tree that bears no fruit. Useless." Tears burned Ekaite's eyes, but she held her head high. Mama Etim, her mother-in-law, tried to intervene. "Please, my husband, don't speak like this. The ways of God are mysterious." "Mysterious?" Chief Akpan said, opening his eyes wide. "The only mystery here is why my son hasn't sent her away yet. I did not pay your bride price for you to turn my son into a childless man. 16 years, Ekaite, 16 wasted years." Her mother-in-law, Mama Etim, was supportive. She took her to a corner after the function and said to her, "My daughter, don't listen to them. Some women take time." Tears stung Ekaite's eyes, but she held them back. She had endured this shame for too long. That night, Ekaite lay awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering if maybe, just maybe, she was truly cursed. Over the years, Ekaite had visited countless doctors. 5 years after their wedding was when reality dawned on them that conception was not happening as quickly as they had expected. They had gone from one church to another, seeking divine intervention. They had knelt before countless altars, fasted until their bodies ached, and listened to prophetic declarations that promised a miracle. Each time, they had left with renewed faith, only for disappointment to greet them after. She had heard all the medical terms: polycystic ovarian syndrome, endometriosis, luteal phase defect, hormonal imbalance, and a whole lot of them. Each time, the result would say something different. One doctor said she had an ovulation, meaning her body was not releasing eggs regularly. Another claimed her uterus was hostile to sperm, but none of them could give her a clear answer. It was a hot afternoon, and Ekaite's fashion shop, Eka Stitches, was bustling with customers. The hum of sewing machines filled the air, and her apprentices moved swiftly, cutting fabrics and taking measurements. She had built this business from nothing, her only solace in the storm of childlessness. Here, she was not just a woman struggling to conceive. She was Madame Eka, the talented tailor whose designs graced high-profile women in Uyo. But that peace was about to shatter as Chief Akpan, her father-in-law, strode in, his agbada sweeping across the floor. His face was that of displeasure. A hush fell over the shop. Customers and staff froze, sensing something was about to unfold. Ekaite's hands gripped the edge of the counter as she forced a smile. "Papa, welcome. Please sit down." But Chief Akpan did not sit. He pointed a finger at her. "So, this is where you hide," he said, his voice carrying the weight of years of disappointment. "You sit here sewing clothes for other people's children, while my son's house remained empty." Ekaite's chest tightened. She had endured 16 years of shame in private. But this was a humiliation she had never imagined. Ekaite's apprentices exchanged nervous glances, while a few customers pretended to be busy with their phone, eager to hear every word. Ekaite swallowed hard. "Papa, this is neither the place nor the time." "The place?" Chief Akpan roared. "You think I care about this sham of a business? A woman's greatest business is in her home, raising children. But you have made my son a laughingstock, a childless man, while you sit here stitching useless fabrics." Tears burned the corners of Ekaite's eyes, but she refused to let them fall. Customers whispered among themselves, "Ah, is it true? 16 years without a child? She's barren," another said. "What kind of woman does that to a man?" Chief Akpan turned to the watching crowd. "I ask you all, is it not a cause for a woman to be married this long and still be childless?" Ekaite's body trembled with anger. She had endured the whispers, the pitying glances, the silent judgment. But this, a public execution of her dignity. Her voice, when it came, was steady, yet sharp as a blade. "Papa, with all due respect, you will not disgrace me here." The shop fell silent. She stepped forward, her posture straight, her voice unwavering. "You speak of children as if I willed myself to be barren. Have I not prayed? Have I not fasted? Have I not spent sleepless nights begging God? Have I not spent a lot of money? But you have done nothing but curse me. Tell me, Papa, when did curses ever bring forth life?" A murmur of agreement rippled through the crowd. A few customers nodded. Chief Akpan's face darkened. He had come to break her, but this woman was refusing to be broken. "This arrogance is why the gods have shut your womb," he spat. "Mark my words, if my son does not have a child by the end of this year, I will bring him a new wife myself." With that, he turned on his heel and stormed out. Ekaite's breath was ragged, her nails digging into her palm. Tears threatened. Tears threatened, but she would not cry. Not here, not now. A soft hand touched her shoulders. She turned to see one of her older customers, Madame Udoak, shaking her head in sympathy. "Do not let that old man kill your spirit, my dear," she said gently. "A womb that is waiting is not an empty womb. God's time is always perfect." Ekaite bit her lip and nodded, though deep inside she wondered, would God's time ever come for her? That day, Madame Udoak introduced her to Dr. Hassan, a specialist in fertility treatment. Ekaite met with her the next week in his office. Dr. Hassan had kind eyes and spoke softly, but his words cut through her like a blade. Dr. Hassan reviewed her file. "Ekaite, let's go over everything again. Your hormone test shows fluctuating follicle stimulating hormone, FHS, and luteinizing hormone, LH levels. That might be affecting ovulation. But your fallopian tubes are clear, so technically, conception should be possible." She nodded. "But it hasn't happened, doctor. What else can I do?" Dr. Hassan leaned forward. "Have you been tracking your ovulation?" "Yes, I use the test kits and check my cervical mucus." He smiled. "That's good. But tell me, when exactly do you and your husband have intercourse?" Ekaite hesitated. "Mostly after my period. Sometimes on days I think I am ovulating." Dr. Hassan took a deep breath and said, "Given your 24-day cycle, you could be ovulating much earlier than expected, possibly on day 8 or 9. She gasped. "But that's only a few days after my period ends." "Yes," he said gently. "And have you ever tried having intercourse during your period?" Ekaite's face burned. "No, that's not clean." Dr. Hassan chuckled. "That's a common misconception, Ekaite. Medically, there's nothing wrong with it. In fact, some women with short cycles have their most fertile window while they are still bleeding." Her heart pounded. Could it really be that simple, she thought. That night, Ekaite told her husband, Etim, about what the doctor had said. "You mean we've been waiting for the wrong time all these years?" he asked, his voice thick with emotion. "I don't know," she whispered, "but we have to try." For the first time, they broke the cultural taboo. And 2 weeks later, her period never came. Her hand shook as she took the test. One line appeared, then another, 2 pink lines. She screamed, falling to the floor, sobbing uncontrollably. Etim rushed in, panicked. "What's wrong?" She looked up, holding the test in the air. "It happened. It really happened." Etim's eyes darted to the small strip in her shaking hands. Without a word, he took it from her, his gaze scanning the tiny indicator that confirmed the impossible. For a moment, he simply stood there, his breath caught in his throat. Then, as the weight of the moment sank in, his knees trembled and he sat down heavily. Ekaite clung to him, sobbing into his shoulder, years of pain and longing melting away in the warmth of this long-awaited miracle. When she told Mama Etim, her mother-in-law, the older women fell to her knees, praising God. But when Chief Akpan heard, he merely grunted. "Let's wait until the baby is born," he muttered. 4 months into her pregnancy, Ekaite lay on the examination table, her hands trembling as she adjusted her wrapper. Etim stood beside her, gripping her hands tightly, his own nerves barely concealed. Mama Etim sat in a plastic chair nearby. Her face was lined with worry. Dr. Hassan entered, his white coat pristine, a warm but professional smile on his face. "Good morning, Ekaite. Today, we check on how your little one is growing." Ekaite nodded, swallowing the lump in her throat. Even after 3 months of pregnancy, she still woke up each morning, half expecting it to be a dream. Dr. Hassan applied the cool gel to her belly and positioned the ultrasound probe. The screen flickered, and within seconds, grainy images appeared. The rhythmic whoosh-whoosh of a heartbeat filled the room. Ekaite held her breath. "That's your baby," the doctor announced, his voice warm with certainty. Tears welled up in her eyes. Oh God, I never thought I would hear those words. But just as she was about to exhale in relief, Dr. Hassan frowned slightly. His eyes narrowed as he adjusted the probe, scanning further. Mama Etim sat forward, her hands gripping the arms of the chair. "Doctor, what is it? Is something wrong?" Dr. Hassan chuckled. "Nothing is wrong, but Ekaite, Etim, you might want to hold on to something." Ekaite's pulse spiked. "Why? Is anything wrong? Is there a problem, doctor? What is wrong?" Dr. Hassan turned the screen towards them and pointed. "See this? That's baby 1. "Baby 1? Etim asked. Dr. Hassan moved the probe slightly, and here is baby 2. The room froze. Etim staggered backward, his hand flying to his mouth. "Wait, 2? Mama Etim screamed, jumping to her feet. "Jesus Christ of Nazareth!" Ekaite's hand flew to her face. "2? I have twins?" But Dr. Hassan wasn't done. He shifted the probe again. The screen blinked and another form emerged from the shadows of the womb. And here is baby 3. For 10 full seconds, nobody moved. Nobody breathed. The air itself seemed to stand still. Then, the room exploded. Mama Etim collapsed onto the floor, wailing in disbelief. "Afami Bomo, God of the universe, oh, this woman went from barren to a mother of 3. This woman went from barren to a mother of 3. Mama Etim screamed. Ekaite's words spun, her vision blurred with tears. She grabbed her husband's hand, shaking. "Doctor, are you saying I am carrying triplets?" Dr. Hassan laughed, nodding. "Yes, Ekaite, 2 boys and a girl." Etim sank onto the chair, his head in his hands. He let out a shaky, half laugh, half sob. "Triplets? We are having triplets?" Etim turned to him, her lips quivering. "My dear husband, our waiting wasn't in vain." Mama Etim jumped up and danced around the room, clapping her hands. "Who said my daughter-in-law was barren? Who said her womb was closed? The God that shuts wombs is the same God that opens them." Ekaite couldn't stop the tears. She reached out and touched the screen, watching the tiny flickering heartbeats of her 3 miracles. 16 years of pain, 16 years of humiliation, 16 years of whispered curses, 16 years of waiting. And now, in a single moment, God had answered threefold. Mama Etim suddenly stopped dancing and grabbed Etim. "We must go home and tell your father. That man must hear this news today." Etim laughed through his tears, shaking his head. "Mama, let's just get out of this hospital first." Ekaite, still overwhelmed, whispered, "Doctor, is this real?" Dr. Hassan smiled warmly. It's real, Ekaite. Your waiting was long, but your blessing is greater. She placed a protective hand over her belly, feeling the life within her. For the first time in 16 years, she felt complete. 9 months later, Ekaite lay in the operating room, her heart pounding with a mix of fear and anticipation. At 49 and carrying triplets, a natural birth was out of the question. Dr. Hassan had advised her to undergo a cesarean section, considering her age and that she was carrying multiple babies. In the theater, the doctors worked swiftly. Then, after what felt like an eternity, the first cry pierced the air. Ekaite gasped, her heart nearly bursting with relief and overwhelming love. A second cry followed, then a third, each sound more miraculous than the last. Soon, the air was filled with the cries of her babies, a sound she had waited a lifetime to hear. Now, her world was finally complete. When the babies arrived, a beautiful girl and two adorable boys, Etim's hand trembled as he gently touched each tiny face. Overcome with emotions, he pressed a long kiss to Ekaite's forehead. 3 miracles, Ekaite. What shall we name them? Tears of joy streamed down Ekaite's face as she gazed at their newborns, her heart overflowing with gratitude. Let's name the girl Inyobong. God's time is truly the best. The first boy, Etido, for his father's strength, and the last, Kufre, for the peace we have finally found. Etim swallowed back tears, his heart swelling with love. Perfect names for our perfect blessings. For the first time in 16 years, Chief Akpan wept. He held his grandchildren in his arms, his voice breaking. Forgive an old man, my daughter. Ekaite looked at him, her heart full. I already have, Papa. And with that, the waiting womb was no longer empty.
Thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications so you never miss our next captivating story. Let us know your thoughts by leaving a comment and don't forget to share this with your friend.